Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So, got time now for Srimad Bhagavatam, and let's chant the Pranati mantras together. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Chapter 3, Canto 3, Chapter 32, Text 10. Evam paritya bhagavatam anupravishta ye yogina jitamarum manusa viragraha tenaeva sakkam amrita purusham puranam Brahma pradhanam upayantya gatha bhimanaha. The yogis who become detached from the material world by practice of the breathing exercises and control of the mind reach the planet of Brahma, which is far, far away. After giving up their bodies, they enter into the body of Lord Brahma. And therefore, when Brahma is liberated and goes to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the Supreme Brahman, such yogis can also enter into the kingdom of God. Text 11. Tatan sarvabhutanam ritpadmeshu kritalayam Shutanubhavam sharanam brajabhavena bhamini. Therefore, my dear mother, by devotional service, take direct shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is seated in everyone's heart. Text 12, 13, 14, and 15. Wow. Adyastira charanam yo viragarbha sahashibhi yogeshvara kumarhadhyay Siddhar yoga pravartakai veda drishya vimanena ishangena pikarmana kartritvat sagunam brahma purusham purusharshabam sa samsritya punakale kalaneshwaramurtina Chate guna vyaktikare jatapurvam prajayate Aishvayam parameshyam cha tepi dharma vinirmitam Nishebhya puna ayhanti punabhyati khare sati. My dear mother, someone may worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead with a special self-interest. But even demigods such as Lord Brahma, great sages such as Sanat Kumar, and great munis such as Marichi have to come back to the material world again at the time of creation. When the interaction of the three modes of material nature begins, Brahma, who is the creator of this cosmic manifestation and who is full of Vedic knowledge, and the great sages, who are the authors of the spiritual path and the yoga system, come back under the influence of the time factor. They are liberated by their non-fruitive activities and attain the first incarnation of the Purusha, but at the time of creation they come back in exactly the same forms and positions they previously had. Text 16. Ye tviha shikta manasa karma shushadayan vitaha kurvantya pratishidani nityadyapi cha krishnashaha. Persons who are too addicted to this material world execute their prescribed duties very nicely and with great faith. They daily perform all such prescribed duties with attachment to the fruitive result. Text 17. Rajasa kunja manasah kamatmano jitendriyaha pitrinya janyanudinam griheshu abhiratsthashayaha. Such persons, impelled by the mode of passion, are full of anxieties and always aspire for sense gratification due to uncontrolled senses. They worship the forefathers and are busy day and night improving the economic condition of their family, social or national life. Text 18. Traivargigaste purusha vimukha harimedasaha kathayam kataniyoru vikramasya madudvishaha. Such persons are called Trivargika because they are interested in the three elevating processes. They are averse to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who can give relief to the conditioned soul. They are not interested in the Supreme Personality's pastimes, which are worth hearing because of his transcendental prowess.
Srimad Bhagavatam. Grace of Prabhu ki.
That's all you get today.
Okay, will everyone be brave enough to discuss Srimad Bhagavatam while Gurudev is here? We try doing it today. Okay, any comments on the verses? Can scroll back a little bit. I found it, I actually didn't realize this, that at the time of creation, that the sages all come back each time. And I found that very interesting. And yeah, it just, I guess it's just cyclical, but I hadn't realized that until reading this.
Yeah, I was also surprised, like when I heard like Sanak Kumaras will come back. I thought they're in the spiritual world, but I think Brahma created them, and so they are come after Brahma.
Yes, makes me think of the back to Godhead phrase. Where do we come? Where do we come from? Where do we go back to? At the end. I can go back here too if people want a little refresher. These insights into where yogis meditate, I hadn't also really heard people meditating on Lord Brahma. I just heard mostly people meditating on Lord Shiva or other demigods. And so that was interesting also to hear about this practice and merging with Lord Brahma's body, and then eventually merging with Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's so much mercy, and just very interesting as a Westerner to think about that.
Last night we were talking about Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, verse 6, and I think the other one was 35. But I think it was 35 that said, in order to control the mind, you need two things. One is practice and detachment. And so that's what this verse was making me think of, is that we need that detachment from the material world. And here it's saying also practice of breathing exercises. So I guess that's some kind of pranayama in order to lead. It says to reach the planet of Brahma, but we were just talking about how that helps you to control the mind. So by practice of controlling the mind, or breathing exercises in this verse, and detachment from the material world, then by those two things you can control the mind, and that certainly helps to practice that for japa as well.
Anyone else like to comment?
I put a check out the chat. It answers your question or clarifies the reason Brahma and others come back, which was hinted at in the beginning of the verse. Every Brahma is not the same. Also,
I wonder what would happen if, for instance, our Brahma would get liberated. Who would fill in for him? Or would we all just go with him? What would happen?
you got to get the right Brahma. Yeah, anyway, you see the beginning of that verse 14, it says that they have some self-interest. So some slight self-interest to be independent. They have to come back. So anything other than pure bhakti, you have to come back. That's the point.
So what about like Sanat Kumar?
Some interest in becoming one with Krishna. That's what Prabhupada's saying in the purport. Or being independent of Krishna in some slight way. Anyway, we can take it as a general principle, whether we cite them as an example or not, that there's some slight interest in being independently powerful and controlling. Then you can't join the party in the spiritual world. You know, like when the four Kumaras, when they tried to go to Vaikuntha and they got upset because the Vishnu Dutas prevented them, but actually they weren't qualified to go. So the Vishnu Dutas really did not, Jain Vijay did not do anything wrong.
And so this purport, or the verse and then the purport of that they would, I mean, it sounded like at the time of creation that perpetually they would come back, but this would be one cycle, or perpetually the Leela?
Well, As long as anyone's not completely pure, they come back. That's the general message, aside from the details. I mean, it could be, like different personalities take the role of Brahma. So when that personality is not pure, he comes back. And another Prabhupada says, Brahma cannot liberate people. So therefore they come back, and they all his followers. So when Brahma's pure, he can liberate. When he's not, he can't. And when someone's pure, they can liberate themselves. And when, yeah. So, things change in different ages, but that's the principle. The principle is, I just want to serve Krishna as a humble servant. And if it's not anything other than that, means I have to get purified of that to go back to Godhead. Or, sometimes the Kumars are said to be in Shantaras. Maybe appreciating Krishna, but not completely purified.
For me, it seems like a moment of the inconceivable that this Srimad Bhagavatam could be translated and purports given, and that next time cycle, it could be, slightly different because some people may have been liberated and some people, have gone back, and the Leelas shift and change.
Yeah, why not? Dynamic process. That's why you get differences in Leelas in different ages.
Right. Like the story of the pastimes of incarnation of Lord Jagannath, how he's been carved in different ways, or how it's like that.
For me, the most incredible thing is how when I see all the verses, and I wouldn't understand a thing if I didn't read the purport. Without Srila Prabhupada's purports, like, we couldn't read the Bhagavatam. There's no chance.
Yeah, Prabhupada said that. I think, Gormani, technically Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya would be considered an invocation, not a pranati mantra.
Okay.
Because generally the pranati, in general you could say that, but it's actually the invocation to the Bhagavatam.
To understand.
Like, there's an invocation to Isopanishad, and then there's an invocation to the Bhagavatam.
Please forgive me. I don't remember where I have heard it, Prabhupada say, that Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya is like a Mahamantra, but not in this yoga, but in Sat Yoga. Is it true? Or have I understood it right? I'm sorry. Have I understood it right?
I haven't heard that, but it's possible. It was a mantra Dhruva chanted, but I believe that was Satya Yuga. But the Bhagavatam is solely about Krishna, so that invocation is like sets the stage. After you chant your 16 rounds of the Hare Krishna mantra, you can chant Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya if you like. But also, Vasudev is the son of Vasudev. So you could be meditating on Krishna in Mathura. But because we're trying to become followers of the residents of Vrindavan, when we say Vasudev, we'll think of Shyam Sundar. If you're a Brajbasi, that's what you'll think. You say Vishnu, you'll think Shyam Sundar. Vasudev, you'll think Shyam Sundar. Because that's your worshipful Lord. So, yeah. But Dhruva was meditating on Vishnu. That's who he saw when he chanted that mantra. Hare Krishna. Gauranga Nityananda.
Thank you, Gurudev. Thank you, everyone, for being a part of Japa Sanga.
Thank you very much for today.
Vanchakalpa Trubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyeva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo. His Grace Mahatma Prabhu ki jai.
Glories to Prabhupada. All glories to all the devotees.